Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break the wall!
Welcome to Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. This is the ultimate show about sports, entertainment, and the world of professional wrestling. Learn the ins and outs of the storylines, talent on each platform. Let Me Tell You Something, Brother airs every second and fourth Tuesday of each month at 7:15 p.m. Central right here. This is the second, not the fourth. And we don't have Tom, but we do have Tim. Welcome in, brother.
Yeah, we don't have Tom, so he didn't show up for his match. He told me anytime, anywhere for that belt you guys see
right up
front. If
front.
you're watching, it's my 40th birthday, so one of my best friends got me a kicking ass and taking names championship belt 40th birthday with the goat.
With the goat, baby. It is an impressive belt.
It's
that
pretty
is impressive
sweet.
Belt.
It's pretty sweet, and it's funny when he gave it to me. I was like, I didn't know how bad I wanted this until you just gave it to me right now. And I'm like, I don't know why I don't already have one of these, but yeah, pretty awesome.
I love the goat in it too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Got a little attitude, a little badass goat there.
I think it's got some money in its hooves too, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, as soon as I got that, I posted it on Facebook, and Tom said anytime, anywhere, and well, this was that time, Tom, and
this was it.
I hope the softball or baseball team is winning because you just forfeited your championship.
It is. We were going to go live. That's how we were going to start the show in the squared circle. Tom decided not to show up. Lost his chance. He did get counted out. He got the 10 count.
Yeah, he sure did. So this is probably going to be a heavy WWE episode.
Of course. Why not?
I mean, most of them
Is there anything else?
Most of them are anyways, right? But yeah, we don't have our AEW counterpart here giving his insight to all that is all elite wrestling. But I'll do my best to give some highlights that I can recall. But most notably right now, I think what is plaguing the world of professional wrestling or sports entertainment as a whole is just the injuries that are happening.
It's brutal.
So two, most notable is, CM Punk made his big return and been back for almost a year now and had his championship match, won the championship on Sunday. And promptly got injured the following Wednesday, I think, and forfeited the title on that Friday. So he didn't even have the championship for a week. Now, then look, it's their star, CM Punk. Yeah. It's brought a bunch of people back to real wrestling or whatever, quote unquote. So they backtracked that and said, well, he's not actually forfeiting the title. He's hanging on to the title. And in the meantime, we're going to have an interim champion that will then face CM Punk when he comes back to determine who is the real champion. So they have this, they had, I think, a battle royal and then a match. And then now at their next pay-per-view called Forbidden Door, they're having somebody, I don't know, Mitsubishi, whoever, Sony, whatever, from Japan Wrestling, come from New Japan Pro Wrestling, come and challenge, I believe, John Moxley, who was Dean Ambrose in WWE, and the winner will be the interim champion, who will then hold it until CM Punk makes his triumphant return. But womp womp womp, I'm not impressed with any of that stuff going on, to be honest.
What a joke! Just give it up. You know what I mean, and build the story back better.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're telling me with your storyline is we got nothing.
You know what? Kind of. And that's pretty shocking. Being all of the X WWE or X New Japan or X Impact is All Elite every week, every Wednesday and Friday for the better part of a year, to not have a better storyline or someone who can just go ahead and have the tournament or have the battle royal and the guy's the champion at the end.
Yeah.
And when CM Punk comes back, have him wrestle him, for the championship then, but don't call him an interim champion. It just seems like really you don't have anyone else that's on that level. I'm sure there's plenty of guys that should take that spot.
It's terrible.
It is. Speaking of terrible, Cody Rhodes. So another look.
Jeez.
Give him whatever you want to give him for his past as Stardust and kind of being, I guess he's been called like a crybaby. He's a very emotional wrestler. Makes his return to WWE, and I'm kind of surprised actually at what a big deal that actually has been and how much of a push they were giving him to pretty much make him the man, like headed in a great feud with Seth Rollins, and that's got all the pyro. He's the guy. He's back. He's returned. And then for him to reveal his torn pec right off the bone, go in a Hell in a Cell match.
That still goes through with it.
Still goes through with it. And the internet nerds, there's a guy out there called Dave Meltzer who does all the ratings for wrestling matches, and he's been pretty much anti WWE for the most part for a long time. Finally, after about 10 years, gave WWE a 5-star rating, and it was that match, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. So comes back, battles through an injury, puts on arguably one of his best matches of his career.
I mean, and for those of you who didn't catch that match, this is not makeup. This dude's entire armpit, his right armpit, all around his pec down to his bicep, purple, red. It hurt watching him take off his coat.
Yes.
And then when that was happening, I was like, this is how legends are made right here.
Yeah.
This is how legends are made.
Yeah, absolutely. So the following Monday, he comes out on Raw and, talks about how he wasn't, it was his choice to go on with the match, because there was a lot of flack about, WWE making him wrestle in that condition. And he was trying to make it very clear that it was his choice to do it. And then Seth Rollins comes out, right? And what is going to be, kind of a heartfelt message. Hey, you've earned my respect. What a match. Even says Dusty would be so proud of his baby boy, which immediately here comes crybaby Cody. Here comes the tears welling up, and shakes his hand, leaves. Cody Rhodes walks down like he's exiting, and here comes Seth with the sledgehammer. Hits him with the sledgehammer, but then proceeds to stomp on that pec and arm. And the next day they put another picture out there, and that red now is all the way down to his wrist. Just completely I don't know how he's able to do that, other than I know they got their hands on some better painkillers than me and you probably get our hands on for that. But I know Tom can attest to this, and I've lift weights here and there, and I remember lifting and just feeling a little bit of a pinch,
twinge,
and I'm like, I can't do that. Next day,
take a week off.
Yeah. Next day, I'm like, oh man, I slept wrong on it last night. I'm out. I don't even want to work today. I want to do nothing, like, let alone try to lift a weight. But then to have something that is, a million times worse, a muscle torn off the bone, to put yourself through one of the most grueling matches, Hell in a Cell, and have a 5-star match at that, not like you got to baby my injury here, go ahead, full force, full steam ahead and do it. Pretty admirable, kind of stupid at the same time too, because it's like, you don't really know what could happen.
Well, and for those of you who are huge fans, hey, Tom Odell says painful to watch.
Yeah,
way to coach. He's tuned into the show. I love it.
Painful to watch. Was it the injury or your softball game?
Now for those let's rewind. I don't know, what was it, 15 years ago or so, when Triple H tore his quad?
Yeah.
It was kind of the same injury.
Yep.
But he finished the match, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then took some time off to let that baby heal.
Yeah. So the projection is 9 months before Cody Rhodes is able to come back. And like, man, what a wind out of your sails moment right here. You're back. Ugh. WWE believes in you. You're going after you're eventually going to be positioned to go against Roman, likely for the championship. Yep. Fulfill the dream, the whole reason why you're back. And to get an injury like that, it's like that's gotta hurt more than physically, that's for sure.
Yeah, and let's just let me do something here. You keep talking. Let's just do this for Tom.
Oh. So, anyways, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view as a whole, and WWE has really been coming through with their pay-per-views. I don't know if they have just finally kind of like listening to maybe some of the fan remarks about, your pay-per-views are too long. There's not really a lot of substance in them. But I'd say at least the past two or ever since WrestleMania, so maybe the past three, even WrestleMania turned out to be way better than maybe some of the critics expected. They've really been putting on some good shows, and Hell in a Cell started out with one of the best matches, I think, of that night, which was Becky Lynch, Asuka, and Bianca Belair. That's, like a nice 35-minute match. Lots of action, lots of physicality. None of the put you in a some headlock for 5 minutes or whatever. Right. Like lots of good stuff happening there. So they really put on a good show.
Very, very impressed too with the technical aspect of the ladies wrestling now. Selling moves, doing it right. Yeah. It's not the old Trish Stratus, let's do a cartwheel and we're hoping for our boobs falling out.
Yeah. Now look, if Trish Stratus wants to come back and do some cartwheels and her boobs fall out, so be it. But just have another match later on that's got some some action in it. So the women have been showing up for sure. And actually last night they had two of my favorite women wrestlers, Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan, who I've always thought would be a good tag team. They actually had them in a tag team match last night, and they both qualified for the next pay-per-view, Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, yeah.
So pretty exciting to see that. Sorry, Tom. I am going to go there, though. So female wrestlers, right? The AEW side of it, though, they got a lot of room to make up here. A lot. They're behind, like far. Yeah. They have a great star, and her name is Jade Cargill, I believe. Just massive woman with very muscular, very athletic. Probably like the black version of like a Charlotte Flair, like just pretty much like a top-notch wrestler. But everyone else seems to be just not really doing much of any substance. So again, so-and-so is all elite. So we had Ember Moon. She was Ember Moon in WWE. She came to AEW as Athena to, a big pop from the crowd because she was kind of exciting in WWE. She did like a Stone Cold Stunner off the top rope. She like jumps, like awesome finishing move. But outside of that, man, not a whole lot going for her. She had a match and the timing was off and people were out of position and it looked more painful than entertaining. And it's just it's interesting because what I'm noticing and have been noticing is these I'll call them ex-WWE wrestlers, even though I know a lot of AEW fans don't call them that.
Yeah.
Because they were in Impact Wrestling or wherever they were before. But when they debut, you can see why they were let go.
Yeah.
They're not as good as they think they are, or as good as people maybe have thought that they were.
Right. Hope they were.
So when we like reflect back on, if you followed any of these wrestlers or when they were on the indies, indie wrestling it's cool when there's the the chair shots, the table shots, because they really just lay it all out there, right? Lots of blood and all that stuff. Yeah. But the actual wrestling aspect of it is not really there, which is why they are running the indie circuit and not in a professional promotion.
Yeah, kind of like the funk, of the old day. Just what can you hit me with? Oh, you're gonna body slam me on some tacks? Wonderful.
Yeah. So that's exciting because you don't see that, right? You don't see that every day. And like, here's this guy taking it and bleeding for us, right? They're laying it all out there. So you got to appreciate that.
Yeah.
But when you take that style of wrestling and you take the chairs away and you take the shock value from it, and you actually put them in a ring where they have to have good timing and tell a story and also be good on the mic. When you have someone that misses like all of those marks, you can see why. Like, there's always the question, why did WWE let these people go? The mass exodus of people, and then they show up somewhere else. And I'm like, if you can't see why they were let go, like, I don't know what better proof you need as to why. Minus certain stars. Daniel Bryan, obviously a terrific wrestler, good on the microphone. John Moxley, like, those guys left on their own accord to go and pursue something, and they were stars and they continued to be stars. But the X talent, they're still X talent to me. Like, they're just not good. Tony Storm, Ruby Soho, who was Ruby Riott, Athena, all the female ones that have been let go and they've resurfaced, they suck. Yeah. I don't know how else to say it, but
and it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch now on the big screen. I would say. I mean, maybe it's different there because you're feeling the excitement or whatever, and you may not be able to see the ring real well.
Yeah.
So it may be okay, but yeah, there. I mean, they sell it poorly. There's like. It's like watching a glitch in the Matrix sometimes. It's like, what am I? Oh, you, me? Okay.
Right.
And, Friday, if you watch SmackDown, you saw Rousey and Rebecca Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And Rebecca Rodriguez for a rookie. This girl. Yeah. She's good.
She's good. And you know what? And I'll say this about Ronda Rousey. She's not.
No, she is really not.
She's not. So there's this her promo is circulating right now against who was Shotzi Blackheart was her name. Now they just call her Shotzi. And she says something, it's so almost so ridiculous. I don't even know if I'll say it right to like really feel it. So something along the lines like, "Oh, you want a Shotzi at the belt? You're on ski." And I was like, "Oh God, get off the TV. You shouldn't be here." And then I'm like, well, that's why Sasha and Naomi left, because here you're pushing Ronda Rousey down the throats and she's not good. She's just a name. Now she'll kick my ass any day of the week. I'm certain of it. But I'm not in the middle of a WWE ring on television, being paid to entertain and saying corny stuff like that. Yeah. And that was just like, you're not the baddest woman on the planet when you're saying corny stuff like that. I'm sorry. Just
and she really stretches for crowd reaction because she's not good on the mic. She's just not. I mean, let's be honest. Back in the day, right, in the UFC, she was the female Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to come in. I'm going to punch you. I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to go home.
Yep.
And all of a sudden people are like, well, if you punch back.
If you punch her once in the and to bring Mike Tyson into it. So one of his greatest statements ever is, right, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
That's right.
And that's Ronda Rousey to a T, because as soon as it's just not, you can tell when she's uncomfortable and she's not comfortable talking in front of a crowd. She stutters and stumbles over what she's supposed to be saying, and her body language is like that. She doesn't want to be there saying this.
Right. Yeah, and they should have played her like Goldberg. Who's next? That's all you got.
That
or who's next,
or give her a mouth, like make her a Paul Heyman girl and have Paul Heyman out there and have her be quiet in the corner, and you go out there and you just line them up and have her knock them down. But they didn't do that, and
put her in the bloodline.
That's like, I got to go to the bathroom time of the show. I'm like, this isn't going to be entertaining at all. Whereas Becky Lynch, though. So Becky Lynch, like, she just like far surpasses most of the talent, even in WWE, whether men or women, just in her body language, her promo skills, even her wrestling in general. Like, you believe what she says, but like Ronda, I just can't even get behind what you're saying. It just sounds so scripted and corny. I don't know. I just can't not feeling it.
Yeah, it is. It's bad acting. Yeah, it's like Seth freaking Rollins, right? Now, Seth, I know a lot of people love him, and Seth, I know you're listening, so I appreciate that. But the bottom line is, he oversells his lines and that persona, right? And I just can't, I know a lot of people love him. I just can't get into him because I'm like, you're trying too hard, man.
So it's funny you say that because I'm one of the people that love him. I love Seth Rollins. I think so. Look, his fake laugh. Okay, right. You're pushing it. Your Joker-ish laugh or whatever. But honestly, his over the top outfits and persona and dancing out to the ring, it's got this like vibe to it where, it's over the top. It's corny, but it's also badass at the same time. Like when he comes out, the crowd's singing along, they're like chanting to his music, and then it's got that heavy metal drum beat to it, and then fire coming out. So it's kind of like he's doing the evil villain, like a movie evil villain would.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like yesterday's match between him and Riddle, right? Is it Riddle? Yeah, Riddle.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a match, though.
Yep.
I mean that you, as a tactician, as a wrestler, as everything you asked for in the ring, Seth has got it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good.
Yep. They said it was a wrestler's wrestling match.
It really was.
Actually, went out there and performed. So, So, and that's the thing is he's got that in him.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have, that is who he is. He's one of the greatest wrestlers. His persona, like it or hate him, if you're feeling any sort of way about it, I guess he's doing his job, right? So,
right. So now with Riddle moving, I mean, is he injured too? He looks like he was hobbling a little bit.
Apparently he's injured. But I think this whole Riddle situation is setting up a Randy Orton, Roman Reigns battle at SummerSlam.
Interesting.
Yeah, he should be back for that.
So he wants to defend Tom Odell. Thanks for tuning in. Paige should be Ronda's mouthpiece. And by the way, Tom, you did get counted out for that belt that's sitting right there next to Tim. That was tonight.
That was tonight. You missed it.
You missed it.
It was going to be a good one too, man.
It was
a barn burner.
Yeah, it was going to be. It was going to be a studio slobber knocker.
There you go.
No holds barred. Anything goes. So the amazing thing is, but I'm watching that too. Does this mean the RK Bro is going to be breaking up a little bit? Because Riddle's starting to. I mean, he's showing well.
So the stipulation is that if he loses, then he'll never be able to challenge for the championship again.
Right.
So I got a feeling he's going to lose. I can't see him dethroning.
Yeah.
Doing what John Cena and Brock Lesnar and everyone else has been not able to do on a Friday night SmackDown.
Right.
But I can see the story playing out to be, well, he can't challenge you, but I can. And Randy Orton make his triumphant return to challenge him for the championship at SummerSlam. But, Riddle is I almost annoying and almost good at the same time. Like, look, he's a stoner. That's like his persona, West Coast stoner, whatever.
Right.
And that's his nature. That's actually very true in his character. But it's annoying when he talks and like his Randy and all that. I don't know. It's just I can't see them putting a championship on him.
No.
Maybe an Intercontinental Championship because he can work. He's a good worker. Something about people wrestling with no shoes on too just kind of irks me. Like, it's weird.
Right? What is that? Gotta get the boots, lace them up. How do you retire at that point?
Yeah.
Cut your feet off?
Yeah, it's just weird, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. More than likely, there'll be some sort of interference, or he'll just lose. And that's going to be the storyline there. But
or will it be Randy who interferes?
It could be
to help his buddy.
Yeah.
and then gets caught.
So look, if Randy interferes and then it's a disqualification and Riddle loses, now that's the end of RK Bro because Randy just cost him his title shot, and he won't be able to challenge again for it. So that could be the destruction of RK Bro.
Right.
We'll see what happens. But I think more so of a destruction of RK Bro and possibly Roman Reigns' title reign is the return of John Cena. Summer of Cena again, June 27th.
That's right. June
20 years of John Cena. It's crazy.
SmackDown? Is that where it's coming up? SmackDown.
I think Monday Night Raw.
Is it Monday night?
I think so.
13th. Yeah. 20th, 27th. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's an interesting draw there too. And here's the brilliance of Cena and WWE. They're already selling merch. I'm just like, brilliant move.
He hasn't wrestled in a year, and he's still got one of the top selling shirts. And they're still, you can't see me all in the crowd.
That's it, everybody, and the crowd goes crazy with the champ is.
Yeah, I took Addie and Gabe to Milwaukee last year. Cena was making his return. And it was, I think, his first show, and the crowd just went crazy. It was like I remember when I was Gabe's age going to see like Stone Cold for the first time, and just like the crowd pop, it was like the same. It was crazy.
Well, that's what so we were in Door County, Alice and I were, and I was like, cool, we get to watch Raw live, because usually I watch it on Peacock the following day because I don't have cable. So I was like, we get to watch it live. And so usually when I watch it, she's either not around or goes to a different room, right? And so we're sitting there. She goes, where's all the guys that I know from when we first got married 30 years ago, they're all old now. I said, yeah. Some of them still wrestle.
Yep.
But she was just sitting there like, who's this guy? It's Seth freaking Rollins. Who's that?
Yeah. Well, what is it? A&E, they have their WWE biography series coming back again for another season. So if she wants to sit down and see what those wrestlers, be reminded of 30 years ago, all those guys will be having their biographies coming out again. So, Tom mentioned Paige.
Yeah.
And so Paige just had tweeted, I think yesterday or the day before, that WWE is not going to renew her contract. So as of July 7th, I believe, she's officially no longer Paige.
Ted, how are you, brother?
What's up, Ted? So it'd be interesting to see, because there is obviously she says she's healthier, feels healthier and better than ever.
Yeah.
Right. But she's had a neck injury. So that's, feeling great, and wrestling with a previous neck injury are a couple different things.
One wrong move. Yeah.
One wrong move. Yep. But we've seen Daniel Bryan, we've seen Edge both come back from neck injuries and wrestle and be, a pretty good performers still. But I don't know. I think she'll probably end up as Soraya is All Elite at some point, go and bring some, try to bring some of that talent up, mentor them or whatever to become better. But that being said, she hasn't wrestled in a long time. So,
right. But again, she could go back to being, Paige should be Ronda's mouthpiece.
Yep.
I mean, I imagine they won't renew the wrestling contract, but maybe there's another contract there where they can keep her talent. And they just say, we're not taking that chance, and we don't want to ruin your life.
Yeah.
So
speaking of ruining lives, I don't know if do we have are you going to ask me a question today? Do we have enough time to get into
we got enough time to get into Mr. Hardy.
Okay. So let's get into Mr. Jeff Hardy.
From the AEW.
Yep, AEW. The only wrestler to have a mugshot on TNA, WWE, and AEW. So look, it's not like it's funny to a certain extent, but obviously his personal demons just kind of keep showing up.
Yeah.
And so for the couple people watching and everyone listening at home, so this is his third DUI offense. Driving also on a revoked license as well, and a handful of other
3 times the legal limit.
Yeah.
Brother was drinking.
Yep. And the sad part about it is just a couple hours earlier, there's a picture of him and his brother Matt and someone else, maybe another wrestler, all hanging out. So you got to, I mean, you would assume, right, that whatever's transpiring is also transpiring in the presence of family and possibly other friends, right? You're tweeting it out. Here we are hanging out. And look, I close relationship with people who have struggled with alcoholism and other addictions, and you have to have the right support system around you. And I don't know that that's
didn't sound like
I wasn't there, right? So I don't know, but one can assume you've just put the timeline together. Well, hey, we're hanging out with friends and family, and this is what's going on. But the more telling thing about it, and what's crazy is, so he walks out of WWE because WWE is trying to force him to take a test to see if because he's been acting wacky, right? So that it wasn't just out of the blue, there was reason. And rather than take the test, he walks out of his match and leaves and quits. So the rumor is, and the rumor is had only by himself and Matt, that, well, I did get tested and they came back clean. But that's the only source of those results is out of their mouths. So, I mean, take it how you want, but maybe I wouldn't be forthcoming if I just quit and wanted to slander my previous employer. They wanted me to take a test, and here I did take it and it was clean. Ha ha. Yeah. I just didn't want to work for you anymore. But the truth of the matter is he's a mess, and it's been showing up on AEW for weeks in his matches. From his traditional finisher of the Swanton Bomb looking horrible, not executed properly, and people running to the defense. No, this is actually how you should do it in a real wrestling match. What you were seeing for 20 years before was the WWE version, the watered down version. But really, he was just lost a step, and it was just lost his way completely, and was just not there anymore. So it's a sad situation. Hopefully he gets the help he needs, but it's also the help that WWE was offering him before he walked out, and he said he didn't need it. So, but Tony Khan and AEW released a statement earlier today saying that he is suspended without pay and won't be welcome back until he completes his rehab treatment. So anyways, which apparently he has agreed to.
Yeah. The who is it? The media, like
Warner
Media said no, not an image, not a word, not a nothing.
Right.
We don't want to have anything to do with him. Yeah.
So yeah, it's look, wrestlers, not all of them, we don't know everyone's story, but historically a lot of wrestlers have fallen into drugs and alcohol because of the job. They're on the road 300 nights. They're in pain. They're wrestling, in some cases, they're wrestling 4 or 5 nights in a row, and sometimes 2 matches in a day, depending on what era you were talking about.
Yeah.
And we just talked about a little tweak in my arm, and I'm like not doing anything tomorrow. So I couldn't imagine dealing with the pain and being alone.
Yeah.
Ways to deal with it. So, but part of the appeal of AEW was they didn't travel as much. They didn't work as many nights. So this was going to be a relief to him. But maybe, idle hands is the devil's playground, right? So he's not staying busy. So he's got to occupy his time with something else.
So Rebby Hardy.
Yeah.
She put out a TikTok just about an hour or so ago to shut down certain fans who are saying that she and Matt were enablers for Jeff. Rebby said that she booked a recent event where Jeff appeared and she made sure no alcohol was served. Rebby also said that she and Matt walked Jeff to his hotel room that night. There wasn't much more that she and Matt could have done. Rebby made it clear that she will not speak about Jeff's situation again and that she is not responsible for the actions of a fully grown man. Rebby added that she and Matt have been through this before, and it's very triggering, and she deals with it with stupid humor. Wrestling news.co was told by someone who saw Jeff on Sunday that there were no signs that he was under the influence. So it must have gone back to his room and lit up, and then said, "I gotta go get some Taco Bell."
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think she made I didn't see it, but I saw some
Thanks,
remarks.
Sally says, "Hello, gorgeous, nice belt." Oh, she's talking about you. Sorry.
Yeah. She can't see your belt.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I think she had made a distasteful tweet or something earlier in the day because there was some sort of backlash about what she was making a joke out of the situation or something like that. And look, she's right. So no one's responsible for anybody but themselves when you're an adult, right? Like you're responsible for your own actions. It's the situation again, just looking at the timeline of things, the perception would be that, well, what was going on when he was in your presence, and shouldn't you be concerned about that? But I agree, and yeah, a lot can happen in a very short period of time. So you can be completely sober and be like, whew, I'm glad that's over. I'm gonna go and slam a handle of whatever, or a fifth of vodka, or whatever it is, and then call up someone and go make a run at, because I think it was like 12:30 a.m. maybe headed to Taco Bell or whatever it was. But anyways, so yeah, hopefully he gets the help he needs. But honestly, he doesn't need to make a comeback. The Hardys they're both of them. Matt should take the cue too, and like, look, just go spend time with Rebby and your family, and you're not promised tomorrow, and it's all everything is like I said, you're not promised tomorrow. So you're kind of done. You're limping around. You look bad, in bad shape yourself. Your brother's not good.
Yeah.
Let's step away.
Well, we see that, right? We see that with a lot of any athlete. I mean, Brett Favre, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson. I mean, we can name baseball players who keep a lot of times when you do something for 20 years, we'll take my dad, right? And my dad retired when he was 70. He's 80 now, and he still works part-time. Why? Because he's worked his whole life. So when you're doing something that you love, and your regiment is, hey, I get up in the morning, I eat my Wheaties, I take my vitamins, I go work out, we travel to the show, we prep the show, I get another workout in, I take a nap, I take a handful of painkillers, whether it's aspirin or whatever, because they're putting their bodies through every professional athlete. I'm not talking just wrestling.
Yeah.
And and then then it's showtime, right?
Yep.
And it's amazing to me when you play the sport. That's one thing, and you think that you're exhausted because you played the sport, or you gave it. But that's just not a sport. It's also entertainment. So not only are they putting their bodies on the line, but they're giving away a certain amount of energy. After these shows, right? After a Friday, with show after show after show here at 21.6, and I produced several, but I'm just sitting here like, man, I'm spent, because you do, you put in some energy into your show so that the people like it.
Yeah.
And the tough thing is, I mean, we go back to Ric Flair. They, hey, take the rookie with you. Okay. They wake up. All right, we're gonna do 19 what? Beers, before we hit the gym, and then we're gonna hit the gym, and then for lunch we're gonna have 19 more. And if you listen to Ric Flair and his regiment, you were like, how does this guy even function?
Yeah.
Let alone show up night after night and just turn it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. So obviously the routine and their passion is there. The idea though is, look, someone is paying you, and a promoter is bringing you in and kind of putting you on this pedestal that you are this person still, and the fact of the matter is you're just not. Like, you shouldn't be doing ladder matches and table matches and all of this high flying stuff.
Right.
Like, that's what you're known for. I get it, but you also have to change with the times and what your capability will allow you to do.
Jordan had to learn how to do a turnaround, right? His fadeaway jumper,
right?
He had to change his game later in the years.
Yeah. At some point, for all of those athletes, as a fan, you see the missteps, you see the accuracy go, you see them become slower, and that it's a matter of time. Number one, they'll be traded to some other team, and for whatever value they can get from them. With wrestling and a history that Jeff Hardy brings with him, though, like, there's not really many more red flags than a guy could give you.
Right.
That he just shouldn't be doing what he's
He
doing.
just shouldn't.
And that being said, you pull it away from him. Maybe this news happens 3 months ago that he's getting a DUI or getting a car crash or killing somebody. So maybe in some form or fashion, this has saved him from maybe what's inevitable at some point, or postpone the inevitable. But in any case, I wouldn't be excited to see his name like, oh, he's returning
now,
at any point.
And Ted says separating their business from drugs and alcohol is truly important to their image, and they are children's idols. And when it comes to handling pain, I have pain every day, but I'm not hooked on drugs or alcohol. And I work out 3 times a week, even though there are setbacks. They can do the same. Yes, yes. But there's that innate mindset, right, of an athlete, of an entertainer, and let's be honest, what do you think, what do you think his contract was worth? Here's what I think a lot
couple
of
$1 million.
Yeah,
probably.
I think a lot of people think it's basketball, baseball, football money.
Right.
It ain't.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah. These guys are making all their money selling merchandise.
Yeah.
And very rarely their contract is what's supporting them. And they have to pay for all their travel expenses and all these other things too. That all, that those millions after taxes and after their write-offs is really not as much as you may think.
Let's put something into perspective, Tim. The average career of a NFL player, National Football League player, is 5 years. 5 years. Some of these guys have been doing it for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And it's not one game on Sunday, take Monday off to sit in the ice bath,
and then
no pads on Tuesday. Right. Okay, touch football on Wednesday, maybe Thursday we got a game. Yeah, and then we don't take 6 months off or 5 months off to, because it's baseball season. Right. And so when you take a look at it, so many missteps, concussion. I mean, how many concussions does this kid have?
Geez, who knows?
Right.
And that's even who knows how many diagnosed concussions, let alone how many went undiagnosed.
Yeah. I mean, he's taking chairs to the head, ladders.
Yeah. I mean, you name it, the guy's done it. He's put himself through hell.
Right.
At his own expense to entertain us.
Yeah.
But it's become unentertaining and more of a train wreck, right? Like you can't pull away because it's just a disaster.
Yeah. Now I was never a big fan of the Hardy brothers, even back in the day.
Yeah.
And why? I don't know. I was always the big, I like the Diesel, give me Kevin Nash, give me those guys any day of the week, before you get these little flippy guys.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio does a great job, still at his age, but I was still not a big Rey Mysterio fan because he was that flipping, jumping, and that's even harder than what the big guys are doing.
Yeah,
I mean, be honest with you,
right? right. The big guys, look, it's a boot to the face, a big chop to the chest. That's louder to smack the crowd. With,
power bomb and pin.
Yeah,
boom.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
not a lot of running and stuff like that.
No.
Yeah. Anyways, all the best to the Hardys, and they are legends in the industry. Anyways. And we'll go down for a bunch of other reasons other than their demons.
There we go. A little late, but let's get to it.
Yeah.
Time to play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. All about control and if you can take it. All about your stand if you can play it.
All right.
Who's gonna make it? I am the game.
It's all about the game. Best of, worst of, right here. Let me tell you something, brother. Tonight, the best of and the worst of. The best part of the TV shows, Raw and SmackDown, the current ones, the best part and the worst part.
Whew. Huh. That's tough. It's tough to pick a best, but so I like, what the hell? What do I like? I don't know. That's a really tough question. That, you know what, I do enjoy. I enjoy Miz TV.
Miz is
Honest.
good. Yeah.
So look, a lot of people hate
Yeah.
the Miz.
No.
Honestly though, like,
And Mrs.
anytime, hey, and whenever the Mrs. is on there, she broke down the internet on Monday. You gotta Google Maurice on Monday Night Raw.
That's it.
But look, you want to talk about like entertainment? The guy knows how to entertain you.
Yeah.
So you hate
He's
him,
good.
you hate him, you love him, whatever it is.
I've always liked him.
Yeah, I've liked him. So as a kid, right, I would watched him on The Real World, New York.
Yeah, New York. Yeah.
And from following him from he's from outside of Cleveland, but like a small town, and just kind of seeing him go to New York and develop this character, the Miz.
Yeah.
It was established as like a 19-year-old kid on The Real World. And then eventually down the road, MTV had the Real World Road Rules Challenge, where they took the All-Stars and would put them on and make them go through all these different wacky things. And the Miz would then come out again. And like, man, he just wants to be a WWE champion someday. Then he was on Tough Enough and got to see him get knocked out of Tough Enough. But to one day see him come to the WWE, live his dream, be the kind of the laughing stock and the joke of the WWE, to be
one of the guys,
two-time Grand Slam champion or whatever. He's won every title twice at least. Headline WrestleMania with The Rock and John Cena. Like, anyways, I will take his 15 minutes of whatever he wants to talk about every week, and I sit and I watch it, and that's fun, and I expect it every week. The worst part, that's tough. I don't know. One of the worst parts right now, I guess, would be we talked about Ronda Rousey, like these cringy wrestlers that they're trying to push. So from the current products, like whenever I see her come out, it's like, I don't care that she's out there, and I know it's going to be something corny, something stupid.
Yeah. So Sally Santos says the Miz is my fave. So Miz TV for sure right now. Oh, worst is anything
with Ronda. So there you go.
And Ronda, we appreciate you listening. We love you. I can't believe we said the same thing. We didn't plan it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Ted says the Miz kind of reminds him of Ted DiBiase back in the day. Right. I'll bet.
I could see that. Right. Now Ted DiBiase was awesome.
So my two best of SmackDown and Raw is, I like that they're opening up with a good match nowadays. It used to be come out, we'll talk, right? And then we'll break, and then we'll come in and it'll be kind of a soft, soft match. But I like that they twist it a little bit and they throw a good, entertaining, full-length match right up front. Yeah. Right, with some good names. Like, here we go. Right. I like that, because now you got me. Yep. You could say, oh, okay, let's see what the lineup's going to be, and then I can go wash my car or whatever. Yeah. Go smoke a cigar and be back. And then so I really enjoy that. The other thing I really like on Raw is I love the production when people come out. So now it's like 3D and gamey, and you're just like, that's really badass.
They figured it out. At first it was a little corny, but they figured it out now how to do it and make it look cool.
Make it look like it's popping right out at you. It's cool. I really enjoy that. The worst is, and I know it's being in this game, I know it's a necessary evil. Good Lord, get rid of the commercials. I watch, because when you go and you watch it when it's streaming, the commercials are maybe 30 seconds. Boom, boom, boom. You get rid of them. But it's like, okay, here's Tim Santos. You come out with the goat belt. You're like, all right, where's Tom? And then we go to 6 minutes of commercials, and the match has already started or something, and you're just like, what the hell happened here? So right now, that's the worst part of both of these productions, is just the timing of the commercials.
Yeah. Well, there's an abundance of commercials because someone's got to pay for those awesome graphics that you're seeing and entrances. So one other thing that they do on an occasion that I like, and they did it last night, is sometimes before the people in the ring actually leave the ring, the next people who are going to be wrestling are making their way out.
Yeah.
So last night it was Asuka and Becky Lynch were in the ring, and Becky was walking back, and Alexa Bliss's music hit.
Yeah.
So you get this like interaction of them walking past each other, like staring each other down, even though they're not in a story together right now.
Right.
You can kind of see the seeds being planted for something happening in the future.
Yeah.
So I like that. And I love their huge screen that they have. So it's similar to the graphics, like massive. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. And yes, Tom, they are taking that from AEW, the starting off with the killer match.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So that is one thing that AEW had going for them, or has going for them, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just AEW doesn't have Miz TV to follow up that great opening match.
Right.
So.
Right. And Tom says, and that is cool about AEW is how they leave picture in picture during the commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I will agree with that.
Have you ever been to a live Monday Night Raw or SmackDown?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, the music, right? So the music, and then they go to commercial, and they like literally show the commercial like on the screen, and the person's music stops. And then when they come back to TV, the music has started again.
Mine was way back probably in the early 2000s or whatever. Okay. And the commercial would come on, and then somebody would jump in the ring. It was usually that lady, and she'd be like, "Okay, everybody, all right, well, at the count of 5, everybody just explode."
Yeah. So now they basically, the wrestlers is standing in the ring like in the dark while they show like some of the WWE commercials, maybe SummerSlam coming or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when they come back from the commercial, their music starts up again, like it never stopped.
Yeah.
So it's odd when you're there in person to see it like that, but when you're watching on TV,
it's good.
You just think the music's continued this whole time,
right? Yeah, it's like, oh man, they're rolling in there. God, that's awesome. Yeah. The other tough thing to watch, it's not a best of, worst of, but the other tough thing to watch is some of the athletes, don't know. They try to work the crowd when they come in and don't know how to do it. Like The Rock comes out, he jumps up in the corner and he throws that, and the place goes wild.
Nuts. When there was flash photography, it would blow up.
Hogan would wind up, hey, let me hear you. And some of these people come out and they struggle to get up on the ropes. And you're just like,
they're just trying to, that's what it's all about, is the crowd reaction. And if you're not getting them to react, then I'm sure you're having a talking to when you get done. You get back.
That's right.
What's going on?
And you gotta be able to, and that's truly what I miss, is a lot of the swagger. There are some people with swagger. Now, the more that I watch Roman, the more I'm like, all right, man, this guy's growing on me.
Yeah.
And he's got a badass tattoo. And I'm like, I don't know now. This guy,
he looks the part. He acts the part. They found his niche. The one thing about Roman, though, is I just read that he's only slated for one Monday Night Raw appearance over the whole summer.
Yeah.
He's just, I don't know if he's hurt or what they're doing, but to have the idea with unifying the championship was that you would see that person kind of bounce back.
Right.
And maybe he does have an injury that they're not talking about, and why they decided to unify the tag team championships, because the Usos have been jumping back and forth. So maybe to kind of fill that role, they're like having that while still tying the bloodline into the storyline,
right? But
not having Roman do it.
Yeah. Ted says, I went to the Hulk Hogan Randy Savage title match way back when. Great show. The live event. And that's what Tom says is like, whew, WCW Monday Nitro was awful.
I wouldn't know. I never.
You weren't a WCW guy?
No WCW for me.
Yeah. I never went to one live, but it was the WWE that I went to live, just over here in Rosemont, of course. Or actually the Allstate. It was at the Allstate Arena.
Yeah. It was Allstate, not Rosemont Horizon.
Yeah, it was the Allstate Arena. But and it was, still back in the day, it was crazy. Now, the unfortunate thing is that's back when everybody and their kid had to have a poster board and we were down on the floor. We weren't
Yeah.
up in the stands. And of course, everybody's got poster boards they're holding up, trying to get on TV.
Yeah.
So you're bobbing and weaving, you don't want to say, put that goddamn thing down.
Yeah. Yeah. I missed that though, actually. So that was something it was cool to have a sign.
Yeah.
When I would first bring Gabe after kind of getting back into wrestling when he was, 7 or 8 years old or younger, when we would go, we'd bring a sign too, but it'd be almost like no one around us has a sign. I feel kind of like nerdy right now. Should I have a sign?
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of weird, but yeah, it was.
Hey, the Stinger hid behind a sign a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Stinger, 955 years old.
Huh.
Still moving good.
That face paint helps out a lot.
It really does. Your face paint doesn't age.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The old man body ages.
Yeah, he doesn't look his sprightly self, that's for sure.
So Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
That was just here.
It was.
And you mentioned earlier that you were headed to it, couldn't make it though.
Yes. So I won't get into the whole story, but I would just advise people, if you're purchasing tickets to a show or gifting tickets to someone else, to just make sure you know where the tickets are coming from. So unfortunately, we had got ourselves involved in a ticket scalper site, and
good
and
price.
Look,
No,
not a good price. So basically, the ticket scalpers are, they buy all the seats and they sell them for more than what they are, because supply and demand or whatever.
Yeah.
So we found ourselves with some expensive tickets that were guaranteed to be delivered. I had reached out the day before, hey, my tickets still haven't been delivered. What's going on? Was reassured, don't worry, the seller will get them to you. And I woke up the next morning, the day of the show, to an email that they sent at 1 a.m. saying, unfortunately, your tickets are not going to be delivered in time for the event, or they're not, and we're not able to substitute with a similar seat or better section. So a refund is on its way.
Wow.
So the day of the event that happened. And but at the end of the day, the best seat in the house at any wrestling show right now is your couch.
Always.
So look, you got to hear the commentators. You got to see all the camera angles. My concern with Hell in the Cell, and I mentioned it here before, was, well, you have a big ass cell in the way. So can you really see what's happening in the ring?
Right.
So that being said, seeing Cody Rhodes in that shape in a 5-star match would have been pretty cool, and seeing Becky Lynch and Asuka and Bianca put on their epic show would have been cool. But I got to see it all from my couch anyways, and they were prompt with their refund. So
I mean, he says, don't ever say Hell in the Cell again. Well, and this is what I say, right? Things happen for a reason. You weren't supposed to be there. That's all.
Right.
Who knows whether it was a train that derailed. I don't know.
Who knows?
You never know. So, but again, you're reaching hundreds of thousands of people with this show. So to let them know, hey, just be careful.
Yeah. Ticketmaster, Live Nation, those are the companies you want.
What's the other one? Hub, Sports Hub, or what?
StubHub.
Yeah. StubHub's a good one.
Yeah.
You can tell I buy a lot of tickets. But I mean, so that's a great lesson, because there are a lot of people out there, and I am sure that the good news is it wasn't a scam, right? The good news is you got your money back, and you weren't like, what the hell?
Right.
We just took a second mortgage out on our house, and we lost all that money.
Yeah.
The good news is the people return it, which is good. Bad news for them, probably not a good Google review.
Yeah. and look, we went on their site, and you could see, like, my daughter accidentally typed in, well, she thought she was buying from Ticketmaster, and this was Ticket Faster. You guys are, purposely, misleading people, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, like I said, we enjoyed it from the house anyways, and all good. But trust me, if The Rock's music would have hit, or Triple H's music would have hit, I would be sitting here saying a different story. Or even if Bray Wyatt would have came back or something like that, I would be much more upset. But at the end of the day, it all worked out.
Best of, worst of, right?
Yeah. it all worked out. Nothing that epic happened. Just only the first 5-star match in 10 years. That's all.
Yeah, no, I still think the big thing, things happen for a reason.
Absolutely.
Ted says I got scalp tickets once with no refund, and they were fake. No refund. You were lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the worst, right? You get them, you get there, they're like, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Sally says, listen, if The Rock was there, I would have packed my own bags. No, I don't think he's blaming anybody. It was it's a good lesson to learn.
Yeah.
I know you like those events, but truth be told, you had a better seat, better company. It was well worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it all worked out.
Yep, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's got to do it for us tonight on this episode of Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. Of course, come back in 2 weeks because, well, that's the 4th week, and you know what? We're going to be around. So Let Me Tell You Something, Brother airs every second and fourth Tuesday at 7:15 p.m. Central. Come back tomorrow morning for Innovative Strategies with Bill Hasse. Tomorrow afternoon, questions you never thought you could ask in church. Until then, folks, be good. Be good to each other.